Monday Night Raw really delivered in the most passionate way tonight. It was on the build up towards Money in the Bank, and it was the fallout from Clash of the Castle. Tonight's show really delivered a true symphony when it came to everything that initially transpired when it came to Monday Night Raw. We ended up having Uncle Howdy making his return with the Wyatt Six, the new faction under the Wyatt family banner. We also had Seth Rollins making his initial return, which kicked off Monday Night Raw. We also had two great triple threat matches, which was both on the men's and women's side for qualifying for the Money in the Bank tournament, which will continue to be pushed towards each and every single week. We also had Bron Breaker taking on Shemus, which was a decent banger match, which you truly can ask for. We also had singles action as Dragon Lee taking on Carlito. And then on top of that, the production was on par when it came to everything that initially transpired tonight throughout the whole entire night. The camera angles were A+, and I really were intrigued when it came to how they initially put the production together. And the matches really lived up when it came to tonight from Monday Night Raw. They really did their thing, and you truly got your money's worth when it came to everything that initially took place. But I appreciate you guys coming through. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and share this content if you're a fan of professional wrestling. But let's go ahead and get into everything initially, the nitty gritty, everything so saucy. I'm your host, Davon, and welcome to my show. I appreciate you guys coming through, taking a little bit of time out of your day to check out on this small Monday Night Raw review, as well as my reaction when it comes to everything initially happened this following evening. Things kicked off when it came to Monday Night Raw with Seth Rollins coming out. Of course, the fans were surprised, but he's geared, ready to go, injury free, probably now close to 90%. But he pretty much was looking like himself, and it was great seeing Seth Rollins came out. He came out to show a little promo. He also put a little tease that he was being the Money in the Bank qualifying, and he also talked about Damien Priest and as well as getting a rematch for the World Heavyweight Championship that he initially had lost due to WrestleMania and losing from there. But before he even got the words out of his mouth about Damien Priest came on down. He had his entrance and everything like that. They both had a nice little promo back and forth with each other. Pretty much Seth Rollins said he pretty much was healthy, and he was looking to tango when it came to everything initially happened. Both men really delivered a decent promo going back and forth with each other. Damien Priest initially asked Seth Rollins if he wanted to have a match when it came to Money in the Bank. Seth Rollins initially agreed to it, and it looked like it's going to be in the wins when it comes to Money in the Bank. And I look forward to seeing that match for the World Heavyweight Championship, which we know is going to be delivered, and is going to keep the crowd truly happy when it comes to that actual title match. With Seth Rollins now officially being back, I look forward to seeing great things when it comes to him just in general. We know how he continues to be great. He continues to be phenomenal. He also put in a little teaser saying that the Shield was the greatest faction available as well, which I enjoyed from his point of view. He also put a nod as well about the Judgment Day, how they have been dominant in the current modern era of the WWE. But as well, Seth Rollins is somebody you don't want to sleep on when it comes to his workhorse, doing everything, and you know that it's gonna be great when it comes to everything. But is Damien Priest the right one when it comes to beating Seth Rollins? I don't know. I would love to see Seth Rollins getting that spot and most likely be a transitional champion to face Gunther at SummerSlam. But seeing Damien Priest try to face Gunther could be heel versus heel. And I don't know how I feel about that, because Damien Priest hasn't made that initial jump and leap yet as being a face when it comes to WWE right now at the current time with everything that's going on with the whole Judgment Day situation, as they continue to make enemies left and right, as well as dealing with Braun Strowman, dealing with New Day, dealing with so many different people who have been implementing themselves with Judgment Day business lately, and as well as the Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio fiasco that continues to be going on. There's so many different mindset and things that's been going on as Damien Priest is getting pushed and pulled as well. He's trying to play leader of the role until Rhea Ripley comes back. You know she's going to be playing no games when it comes to everything that see me happen in the Judgment Day Clubhouse. But in overall, I know this match is going to be great. I know it's going to be a chef's kiss. And we know that they're going to keep the crowd elevated, keep them excited. And they're going to be anticipating the actual final conclusion of that match when it comes to everything in this scene may transpire from there. Then we get ready over to the Alpha Academy backstage segment. Alpha Academy rolls up Adam Pearce's office and Chad Gable talks trash a little bit about his students and pretty much the junior cadets for costing him the title match. And he asks Adam Pearce, can he have an initial rematch when it comes to the Intercontinental Championship? Because he was just disappointed in the whole situation. And then pretty much Adam Pearce told him that he had to get back in the back of the line when it comes to championship because he's lost too many times. And when it comes to everything, he has lost a lot of times. This is his 5th time he had lost when it came to Sami Zayn and the Intercom title situation. But I'm loving the heel Gable. Initially, it was his call that when it came to the behind the scenes that he thought it was the right move for him to become a heel because he felt like his character was getting stale and he felt like he was just flatlining when it came to everything. But each and every single week, it makes you want to hate him more and more and more as he continued to build up the heat, including with the usurp chants when it comes to his entrance. But I'm enjoying everything when it comes to just in general, the whole philosophy of what Chad Gable can do. Tonight he worked overtime even inside the ring and worked in other storylines as well, presenting himself, and you knew that he was doing great work when it comes to WWE. And he has to just resign with the WWE as well, as he's not going anywhere because he's red hot when it comes to the division of the Intercontinental Championship, or as well if he implemented himself to try to qualify for the Money in the Bank, which I look forward to seeing how things may transpire just in general. But we know we're going to get our money's worth when it comes to Chad Gable. But as well, the story of where Otis stands with everything, and as well as Maxine and Akira Tozawa. But also the rumor story of him initially having a fallout with Alpha Academy and officially starting a brand new group when it comes to the Creed brothers and seeing how things initially may push into a fold. But we know the seeds have been planted as Chad Gable has been talking to people backstage, initially making the motivation, making the push, because he's not just has satisfied whatsoever when it comes to his current group of the Alpha Academy. But I'd like to know from you guys' personal opinion how you feel about Chad Gable just in general. Are you loving everything that he's doing? And initially, throughout the whole entire situation that happened backstage, Adam Pearce told him that he's going to have a match and pretty much prove himself. And then Chad Gable said, okay, make it official, book the match, and go from there. And then his initial opponent, he initially came out afterwards, ready to gear for his initial match. Came out with his entrance with the whole Alpha Academy. They pretty much was in the background, kind of just standing in distance as he was berating them, walking down to the ring. But he didn't know exactly who his initial opponent was. Did initially head to a little commercial break, and then he ended up having Alba Fire and Isa Dawn showing up, walking backstage, making their initial arrival for Monday Night Raw. Pretty much not doing too much, but kind of much just celebrating their championships, walking with their suitcases, heading into their actual arena for Monday Night Raw. Then, of course, we got things underway when it came to back into the ring. Chad Gable was sitting there looking a little bit more poised and serious and was directing the Alpha Academy what to do when it came to the situation. But soon as before they announced who his initial opponent was, it was the big man Braun Strowman, who ended up initially doing his thing, squashed Gable, took advantage of things. Gable tried to be on the offense and try to go after Braun Strowman's arm, but initially he was taken out and beaten down when it came to the initial power slam for the 1, 2, 3. And of course, Chad Gable was looking disappointed, looking frustrated as he was looking to point the finger at one of them, but they had initially nothing to do with it, as the big Braun Strowman got the victory fair and square, clean in the ring for the initial pinfall. But the initial thing happened post-match when it came to everything that transpired, when it came to everything that was pushed forward, when it came to Chad Gable, had them all come in the ring. Then things really got bumped around when it came to everything that transpired as he more so focused on Akira Tozawa and his whole entire situation. And then of course he was about to put hands on him in the situation. Maxine Dupree got in the middle of it to pretty much stop the whole situation. But then Chad Gable grabbed her not her kinstick, but more so her crutch, and threw it out the ring and told her to hobble out the ring as she was initially about to make her way and be assisted out by Otis. Chad Gable initially turned his instructions back to Kira Tozawa and then ended up slapping him across the face, knocking Akira Tozawa down. Otis initially heard the slap. He turned around. Then we got the biggest loud pop in Corpus Christi that we haven't seen in a while as Texas really stand up for Otis, and they were chanting for Otis. Otis initially went face to face with Chad Gable, and they had a little face to face off. And Chad Gable initially was trying to play peacemaker, but Otis was having, as he ended up shoving Chad Gable into the turnbuckle and pretty much vented up, ripped off the Alpha Academy shirt, and as he vented his frustration and then walked away with his fellow family members that he considered his best friends, that he considered family when it came to Akira Tozawa and Maxine Dupree. But of course, the seeds continue to be planted as to where this fall out. But of course, the Alpha Academy is still together. But that was just a situation that initially took place. But we're seeing the seeds continue to be pushed when it comes to Chad Gable is probably going to be looking to do something else or handle the Otis problem that Otis now is literally slowly making a turn away from him. But we shall see how things continue to transfer each week as we push towards Money in the Bank and where how things may happen from there. Then we get ready for the initial recap of Liv Morgan and Dominic Mysterio drama that has been going on with the whole fiasco that has been going on each and every single week. Of course, they did a little bit of highlights of everything initially was going on. Then, of course, they panned over to the Judgment Day Clubhouse, and Finn Balor offered to help Damien Priest against Seth Rollins, but Priest just wants to know why Balor took Morgan's room key, and he wanted to know what was the situation that happened behind that. Then Finn Balor initially said that he was trying to keep Dominic safe, and things have been taken care of from there. But of course, Damien Priest accepts the situation and asks them what he's going to do and endeavor to win the Money in Bank briefcase. And then Balor fakes out by saying that he reassured them that they're going to be on the same page. And Mysterio wants to know where Dominic wanted to know where his vest was. He was looking for it. Carlito was teasing him. And Damien points out that he has a match and he needs to get ready for. But Dominic was looking in a panic way of trying to figure out what happened. But what's going on with that whole situation when it comes to Dominic continue to have situations happen? Finn Balor's assorting himself as well. I'd like to know exactly what's going on with that whole situation. Is Finn and Balor initially working with Liv Morgan? Because I know initially they were together when they were the club and when they were going into battle when it came to everything that was going on with Judgment Day in general. But is Finn Balor slowly making that initially push, and are they going to initially turn on Damien Priest? As Rhea initially will be making a return for SummerSlam. But I'd like to know from you guys' personal opinion on that whole situation. But I know it's going to be pandemonium when it comes to initially everything will happen when Rhea makes a return back. And then, of course, this whole situation is going on with Liv Morgan as she continue to plant seeds in Dominic's head as Dominic is being tough. He's been a true tough trooper when it comes to everything initially continues to be pushed and how things continue to be going on when it comes to Liv Morgan. But of course, we're going to have an end result pretty soon as Rhea most likely will be making her initial return. But as well, we're going to know where Dominic stands on this whole situation when it comes to the Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley triple triangle that's initially going on. Are they going to make a funny situation where some people on the internet community was like, just have a Dominic on a pole match or a Dominic on a ladder match, the rights to have Dominic in their corner when Rhea versus Liv Morgan for the World Championship. But we know we're initially going to set up for Liv having her first opponent, which is going to be Zelina Vega for Money in the Bank. But of course, we never know what could happen in whole situation. It seems like the whole entire Judgment Day is having their hands full with everything that initially continues to be transpired. And I know it's going to be a great one when it comes to everybody having their involvement. The drama is going to pick up. And as well as having Judgment Day business continue to be elevated each and every single week when it comes to everything initially is going to happen when it comes to Monday Night Raw and when Maria initially makes her return. Then we get ready for the initial match of the night. We have Damage Control for women's tag team action, as we had Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane make their entrance. Not with Io Sky. Io Sky is not initially there, but actually it wasn't the Damage Control match. It was Io Sky's match, even though they had the Damage Control entrance and everything like that. But it was the triple threat match that was going on as Io Sky was taking on Kiana James and Zelina Vega for qualifying for the women's Money in the Bank to be the first group to initially, one of them will be qualifying to be the first one to be implemented into the women's Money in the Bank match in general. But so we got things underway with the match. It was a whole lot of back and forth. I really liked this match. This match was a 3 out of 5 stars. But the fans were saying this was awesome in Corpus Christi. But I felt like this match was okay for what it was. It was decent. It was mid at best, but it was okay. But initially, Io Sky did end up picking up the victory by hitting them the beautiful moonsault for the victory. Of course, things was at a strain as we ended up having Liv Morgan being involved in the whole situation of coming to the outside as she had beef with Zelina Vega. Zelina Vega was distracted, but of course, Kiana James took advantage of Zelina Vega being not all there 100% as she had the situation with Liv Morgan. And then initially, Kiana James hit a nice little face breaker. And then from there, Io took advantage of that and was able to pick up the victory with her initial moonsault, the best moonsault, similar to the best moonsault ever, but her own variant version of a beautiful moonsault. But of course, things continue to be under the win when it comes to Damage Control. Io Sky is playing no games. She's a little bit more into a serious mode, which I'm enjoying a whole lot more when it comes to Io. I look forward to seeing what Io continues to do. And of course, we ended up having a little bit of teaser of her saying they need to get more serious, get straight on point, and handle control image whatsoever when it comes to just handling business, winning matches, and showing their dominance the same way how they initially have been doing for the past last year of running WWE just in general. But of course, we never know what could happen when it comes to the following other members of Dakota Kai and as well as Kairi Sane, as things were looking to initially pick up when it comes to those girls. But I look forward to seeing as their story continue to progress. Are they going to initially break up? Or are they going to do their own thing? Or is going to be a new change when it comes to Damage Control in general. But Io Sky did show by example of how to take care of business. So she gave a little bit of confidence to the other members of Damage Control to handle business in the tag team match the following evening. But as well as Kiana James continue to be a standout rookie, doing her thing and implementing moves back and forth. And I'm kind of high when it comes to Kiana James. And I look forward to seeing what she continues to do and how she continues to progress each and every single week. As Kiana James continue to show us what she can do, how she can be involved when it comes to the women's division, as well as not just kind of fading in the background, but actually becoming a real threat when it comes to the women's division. When it comes to Zelina Vega, you have no question about when it comes to Zelina Vega. She knows how to rip and run. She knows how to do everything but don't take her size for granted. She knows how to do her thing when it comes to the professional wrestling, when it comes to the square circle. Zelina Vega is a true veteran. She's been on the indie scene. She's been all over. She's even implemented herself when it comes to being a great manager. But I like to see a little bit more limelight of Zelina being true focus point when it comes to the division. But of course, she's getting ready to gear up for her initial beef when it comes to Liv Morgan. And you know that's going to be a decent match, but I got to figure out, they got to have a little bit more matches probably on the house shows before we initially see them actually have a match for the pay-per-view. But I don't want it to be just a one and done, and then you just be thrown off just a filler match for Liv to get past and go from there. But as well as the development story of Liv continue to plant the seeds with so many different things. She was involved in so many different things tonight when it came to Monday Night Raw. Liv Morgan is becoming a real focal point, not only being the women's world champion, but as well as being involved in a Judgment Day. She's been in multiple segments, as well as she is just picking apart of everything, and she is proving there a lot of people wrong and a lot of doubters wrong when it comes to everything that she initially has been pushing for herself to become great and continue to do things in the way that she really initially wanted to. Then we got come back for the initial recap of Bron Breaker's path of destruction, as he initially put Ricochet out of action and pretty much power slammed through the initial car window. And announcers initially announced that Ricochet is going to be out for coming months, and pretty much there's no timetable of him initially returning, and that we ended up having a commentary replacement, as we ended up having Samantha Irvin not available when it came to tonight, because she of course was attending to Ricochet from what the announcers were saying. But it was kind of odd for her to go over to Clash of the Castle, didn't go attend to him, so she took the night off. But they said that she'll initially be returning next following Monday Night Raw. Then we have Sami Zayn make his entrance to send the crowd on a frenzy, as continue to keep them hyped up, and they enjoyed everything that initially happened when it came to everything that had gone on from this following Clash of the Castle when he went to battle with Chad Gable. And it was a lot of back and forth. It was everything was surprising. I thought Chad Gable was going to get the victory, but they kept the title directly on Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn had a decent promo. I enjoyed everything about it. And he initially said he's done when it comes to Chad Gable, and he's looking for some new challengers. Initially stepped up. And then we ended up having Bron Breakker making his initial entrance. Man, Sammy was confused, saying, "Are you really trying to interrupt my segment with whole situation?" And Bron Breakker said he surely is. And pretty much put out the whole act like he said, "You know exactly what I've done. I've dominated so many different people here as Raw." And he's looking for gold. He's looking for the Intercontinental Championship. And initially, they have a little face-to-face off. But before they even have a face-to-face off to confirm the match, we end up having Sheamus making his initial entrance. He comes out, and of course, he makes his case in a statement, and then berates pretty much Bron Breakker, and then pretty much sets the tone as Sami Zayn was watching and enjoying everything between those two going back and forth. And he said he's going to talk to Adam Pearce, go in the back, and set this match because he knows this match is going to be a banger. And of course, the crowd started chanting banger after banger after banger. And we know this match was going to be hard hitting to the first degree. And I look forward to seeing how things initially was going to transpire. But you knew you was going to get your money worth when it came to Sheamus and Bron Breakker. It was going to be nothing pretty. It wasn't going to be no super technical wrestling. It was going to be hard hitting, straight up, 100%. When it came to everything initially happened. Then we ended up getting ready for the next following match, but they lead it up to a promo of Dragon Lee cutting a promo on Carlito about the whole situation that she happened in the past when Carlito attacked him, the whole situation Judgment Day, and he was looking to take care of the Carlito problem. So then initially Dragon Lee makes his entrance, comes directly down. And then, of course, things really took under the wind as they went into a commercial break, as he was with Joaquin Wild and as well as Rey Mysterio. Then we ended up, after they came back from commercial break, they had a little segment with Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. They had an interview backstage. They talked about their dreams coming true, winning the titles at home, and their hard work starting now because they take on so many people and taking out anyone who comes for their titles. Then we ended up having Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks making their appearance and rose up and talking about how they should have won the actual match. And they already beaten Isla Dawn and Alba Fire before, and initially feel like they're the number one contenders when it comes to the match, and they want a shot for the titles. And initially the champion said, "Game on. You want a title shot?" They're obliged to it, but we don't know what initial date is going to happen for the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. But it should be all right for what it is. I don't see it being anything too spectacular. But we know that the ladies can go just in general when it comes to Isla Dawn and Alba Fire. Same when it comes to Zoe Starks and when it comes to Shayna Baszler, as it seems like there's a lot more mixed tag teams going against the champions. But we shall see the continued story when it comes to everything that's continued to happen on Monday Night Raw, just in general. Then we get ready for Carlito versus Dragon Lee. I enjoyed a lot about this match. This match was a lot of back and forth. So many different things, so many spots going on as we ended up having Carlito coming out as well with JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio. A whole lot of twists and turns happening within this match of so many things happening as they ended up being a brawl mid through the match and everything happened on. As well as we ended up having Liv Morgan once again making her initial turnabout of coming directly to the ring to distract Dominic as Dominic was asking him how did she get his vest and the whole 9 yards. And then things initially broke out when it came to Zelina Vega getting into a brawl with Liv Morgan. And then, of course, LWO and Judgment Day members started all brawling. But initially, JD McDonough took advantage of Dragon Lee, who was distracted while he was on top of the ropes about to go for one of his inverted moves, but got knocked down and got set up for a backstabber by Carlito, who picked up the initial victory for the 1, 2, 3, and continue to keep the twists and turns of the drama. And we see that the seeds are being planted when it comes to the women's division of Zelina Vega and Liv Morgan initially coming to blows. But the continued story of the Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan saga continues throughout this whole entire night. Each and every single minute really counts, but it's keeping us intrigued after they had the initial kiss a couple weeks back. And so many people are really continue to be invested and interested with everything initially was going on. But as well, when you were looking throughout the match, you saw little teasers of the Wyatt 6 up in the rafters. You were seeing a couple of little shadows of light, but you were seeing different characters every so often. But initially, they were popping in and out. They stopped with a Seth Rollins segment and a couple other matches and a couple of different things. But you saw silhouettes of something that was going on over towards the rafters in the higher deck of the arena. Then we ended up going back to a recap of Clash of the Castle of Drew McIntyre being screwed by CM Punk, initially losing the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match, where CM Punk got his involvement. They show him a recap of how he talked to referee Jessica Carr to get a referee shirt, got out there, screwed him. Of course, ended up hitting that initial low blow and then rolling out as Damien Priest ended up hitting a lovely Southern to Heaven choke slam and pretty much picking up the victory with the 1, 2, 3 and sealing the fate of Drew McIntyre. Soon as things initially happened throughout there, things initially was into a frenzy afterwards when they hit to a commercial break. They came back with Chad Gable berating Otis while he's packing his things and going there. And he says he's leaving, and Chad says that they're family and they can't leave as Otis and them were leaving. But Otis says he's done, and Gable says he's done when he says he's done, and he's not done. And they expelled, and he's going to win the Money in Bank all by himself. And then, of course, they cut away from that initial segment that happened directly backstage. Then we continue to see that unfold with Otis. Otis is saying he's done, but Chad Gable says he's not. But we're going to see the twists and turns of the story continue to be developed. But Otis initially has made up his mind. And I know Otis is going to be great. He's so over with the crowd. He is so loved. And I look forward to seeing what Otis continue to do as being a true big bulldozer of the WWE. Dealing as well as the whole situation with Chad Gable. He continued to bite his tongue and continue to have situations back and forth with them. And of course, he's planting his own seeds when it comes to his disappointment when it comes to them. But he's not treating them as a family. But, you know, when things continue to explode, we literally see the implodement of the Alpha Academy right before underneath our eyes. But I look forward to seeing how this initial story continue to be progress, which we know we're going to have a great time when it comes to what they're going to put together. Triple H continue to do a phenomenal job when it comes to not only implementing all these superstars with the whole Chad Gable turning heel, as well as Seth Rollins' return, the momentum leading up to Gunther becoming the new world champion. We know it's going to be his year. That's Triple H's guy 100%. As well as the development later in the evening as to the Wyatt Six, initially making their initial debut. And you knew it was a great masterpiece of everything. Had a key point when it came to tonight from Monday Night Raw. Then we end up having Drew McIntyre making his entrance. He gets directly on the mic. He starts halting before saying that he can't deal with this anymore. He quits WWE and he walks off and he walks directly to the back. Triple H is trying to hold him off. Adam Pearce is trying to talk to him. And pretty much he's done. He's over. He's over the situation. He's just over the whole situation when it comes to everything that initially happened. Triple H tells Adam Pearce to try to fix the situation. But we know what it's going to lead up. As CM Punk is going to be on SmackDown. And I most likely probably end up seeing Drew McIntyre just snapping and pretty much just going on a true attack directly on CM Punk and just venting out his frustration. As this initially is going to come late to them having their couple of matches, then it's going to lead up to a final blow or blow when it comes to a Hell in a Cell. I know a reporter from the internet wrestling community brought that up of having a Hell in a Cell. And, of course, CM Punk kind of shot it down. But I think that's what's needed for them to get out that bad blood. As we initially are having the WWE Bad Blood pay-per-view making its initial return, I feel like that's the perfect place to have that Hell in a Cell to be implemented, to give it the nostalgia kind of thing, as well. I feel like we're back in the old school days of the WWE. Then we get ready for Damage Control for tag team action of Dakota Kai and Kairi Sane as they initially come out and do their whole initial entrance. Dakota Kai still feels flat. I don't know what's going on with that whole situation. I feel like she needs to find some kind of situation. I feel like she needs to get back into the leader role and go from there. But I feel like EO is just aggressively taking over that spot very quickly. And it's kind of just leaving Dakota kind of like in the back burner along with Kairi Sane. But they initially came out with the whole entrance, and they took on Katana Chance and Kaden Carter, who got a jobbers kind of announced introduction, which I felt like was kind of flat. But this match was very fast and furious, very quickly, as things initially was in a hurry. This was as very quick as you possibly got it. I was end up having Lyra Valkyria end up interfering, distracting Dakota Kai, as they ended up Katana Chance and them ended up hitting the after party on Dakota Kai and pick up the initial 1, 2, 3 as the beef continued to go on, as Katana Chance along with Kaden Carter with Alonzo with Lyra Valkyria are going to go into battle with Dakota Kai along with Io Sky and as well when it comes to Kairi Sane. But initially look forward to seeing Damage Control initially get back on track, as Io is going to probably take full reins of this whole beef situation, and she said she probably wants to squash it and take care of these ladies once and for all. But initially, am I going to be caring about this feud? I may be like very 50-50 on this feud, but I look forward to seeing how things continue to progress as they're giving Lyra something to do, as well as Kaden Carter and Katana Chance, who have been missing for a little bit, but now they're getting back on WWE television's good graces when it comes to the Triple H banner. But I look forward to seeing how things continue to be pushed. But as well as seeing Dakota Kai and EO and Kairi Sane get back on the same page, as Asuka's going to be out for a while. I don't know when she'll be making her initial return, as she's initially done for a good minute after having her initial injury. But I initially know that these ladies are going to do their thing, and we're going to have in between tag teams, maybe singles mix-ups, and then initially have the final blow when it comes to six-man tag team action from there. Then we come back to a break segment of showing Bron Breakker lacing his boots, getting ready for his initial match with Shemus, which was announced by Adam Pearce via social media on X, formerly known as Twitter, as he initially announced that he had a talk with Sami Zayn to set the match for the night of Sami Zayn being at ringside. And then we also have Bron Breakker versus Sheamus, which is going to be a banger after banger. But then, of course, we ended up having the initial back to the statement of Io Sky telling Damage Control that things has to change because they lost in the whole situation and things need to change, and or she would change it herself. As you know, Io is not playing no games when it comes to being poised and implementing herself the best way she knows she possibly can. Then we end up having Sami Zayn making his entrance. He's coming out to be on commentary to watch how things make progress with this big brawl of Braun Breaker versus Sheamus. This initial match came to initial halt of back and forth. I really enjoyed everything about it. Ended up being a disqualification, but Sheamus came up with the victory. As we ended up having Luis Kaiser being involved to attack Sheamus, also went on the fence to attack his leg, and so many different things. But the initial hot spot was when Braun Breaker speared Sheamus for Luis to take advantage afterwards. And then Luis was about to set him up and do what he did to Giovanni Vinci to do the all around the world. But before he even got to, when he's going one direction on the south side of the ring, Braun Breaker was going full steam on the north side and ended up spearing the hell out of Luis Kaiser and pretty much extorting his dominance. That made Sami Zayn even get up. And the fans were saying, holy shit, when it came to everything initially had happened. And initially, that nice, lovely picture as you can get when it came to that spear. The production was on point. Each camera angle really caught it off very well. I love that high camera angle. And initially, they ended up having a face-to-face. And Braun Breaker ended up shoving Sami Zayn. The security in them was trying to break everything up and keep things at the peace. As initially, we're leading to a Braun Breaker versus Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. Most likely at Money in the Bank. And we know that they're going to have a really great match just in general with everything that initially transpired. Then we initially get ready back to another backstage situation. Mysterio's backstage looking for his vest when he runs into Liv Morgan and she's still wearing it. He asks her nicely, she calls him bossy before saying, if you want your vest back, you got to take it off me. He reaches to start to unzip it as Liv Morgan gave him a little bit of a boost. And Damien Priest spotted, you should have seen their faces. Their faces was like stone, like their dad caught them in the cookie jar or something like that. And Damien Priest pretty much called them out. And told Dominic, get your vest off her right now. Liv took it off like she just got in trouble or something. She took it off very quickly. And Dominic bounced out of there. And then Dominic is in a tough situation when it comes to that as it continue to be the progress with the Liv and Dominic Mysterio situation. But Damien Priest ended up saying that, telling her, please leave the poor kid alone, stay at the situation, and saunts her out, and pretty much tells her to go ahead and go as we went into a commercial break from there. Then we initially ended up coming back from the commercial break. We ended up having Karrion Kross cutting a promo with Scarlett as they talked about the same issues that they had when it came to the New Day, how they took advantage of things, divide and conquer, cost and AOP the tag team championships. And next week he was offering a challenge to any member of the New Day to a singles match. And he doesn't care who it is because they could have beat him on this week, but he thought patiently on how to deal with the situation. So his solution was to make a singles match. Then we end up having a promo from New Day with Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods going over a situation. And Kofi is the one that ended up stepping up. As he said, he initially set the challenge, and he'll be the one to take on him directly just in general. Then we showed to a recap of Braun Breaker spearing Luis Kaiser, which was once again still amazing when it came to everything that initially happened. And we knew it was going to be amazing when it came to the initial situation. But getting back to the New Day and the whole AOP situation, Karrion Kross, the Final Testament, this beef is really now elevating itself and beefing up in the most decent way. I'll look forward to continue to see how things continue to progress. But Karrion feels kind of flat right now. And I feel like he's just flatlining. He needs some kind of new change. But we don't know initially what's going to happen over time from there. Then, of course, Jey Uso, they get ready for the main event. Jey Uso cuts a promo, concourse that he will be getting a W in his qualifying match tonight and makes his entrance to send us to the break. And, of course, that was a lovely shot of Panic from behind of him going through the crowd, the whole 9 yards. Then, of course, we end up having Finn Balor coming out as well, looking more poised and serious. Then we end up having Rey Mysterio having his involvement as well. This match was a lot of back and forth. I enjoyed everything about this match. everything you truly can get when it comes to them. Of course, we ended up having Judgment Day's involvement, as this was a triple threat match, no disqualification, as they implemented and started attacking Rey Mysterio, as well as Jey Uso. But of course, Braun Strowman's entrance came out to run off Carlito, JD McDonough, as well as the rest of them that were Dominic Mysterio as well. Then the show ending came when Finn Balor was setting up for the coup de grace, pretty much setting up, and he had Rey Mysterio down, and then he hits the coup de grace, but Jey Uso was on the other side of the ring, ended up hitting that lovely, beautiful Uso splash to pick up the victory for the 1, 2, 3, and then initially picking up the victory as he ended up celebrating and going through his own moments. Then we ended up having the lights going down as the old school giving homage to the Fiend and a Wyatt tribute in a very, very, very beautiful, tasteful way. I enjoyed everything when it came to initially this whole entire breakdown. But then, of course, the door appears with the ivy, the whole entire setup. The lights is there, the little spotlight. Then we see a case of the lantern directly a little bit forward. And then we ended up seeing a figure step directly through the initial door. Ended up being no other than Nikki Cross coming through. But I believe she was Al the Witch. She came through. And it was great seeing her with that silhouette mask. The whole entire white dress kind of set up. And then she points to the camera that goes to the back, where we see all initially the whole entire destruction as the camera pans to a pile of bodies, what appears to be Eric Rowan, who emerged as Reveling Rabbit, and the hammer that says help at the gorilla position. Then we can to them going further into the gorilla, as you see production staff all laid out. One man's blood splatter on a wall behind him as someone is in a bird mask perching on a road case. And then initially ended up being no other than Dexter Lumis, who initially was making his initial return, but now having his own solo appearance, being a part of the Wyatt family. Then we pan over to them going further into it. Then we see a pig-shaped mask standing. And of course, we see Chad Gable busted open there with that. Of course, that ended up being Joe Gacy, who ended up being under the mask. He was bleeding from the temple. And then, of course, we see Uncle Howdy standing in the hallway doing his normal thing, approaching the camera with his lovely handwork, the whole 9 yards. They finally make their way towards the gorilla, as all members of the Wyatt Six made it their initial way to the actual lantern. Then they stand together in this group, being menacing, being just amazing. I love the way how they're really keeping it dark, keeping it poised, keeping us highly invested. And then, of course, Uncle Howdy ended up saying, "We're here," and blows out the candle to end the show. But when it came to everything that see happen in that segment, it was a chef's kiss. I enjoyed everything initially about what initially happened. When it came to what every single member of the Wyatt Six did, it felt important. When it came to how they delivered it, the camera angles, keeping it dark, having the sparks go, like they really just ran shot in the backstage and took out everybody. And then, of course, Uncle Howdy being himself, being poised, but each member showed a homage to Bray Wyatt, which makes me want to miss him more and more and more each and every single day. Makes me wonder what it could have been like when we had the final version of the Fiend being involved with Uncle Howdy and the Wyatt Six and so many different things. But we still have not seen Alexa Bliss, which probably will be coming at a later date, or maybe she may not be tied to them whatsoever. But I want to see how that continues to be progress. But this truly was a great debut for all of them, and kind of like a reboot of something we needed on the Raw brand. But I wonder, are they going to just be tied to Monday Night Raw, or are they going to be free agents and be on SmackDown as well? But I'd like to know from you guys on personal opinion how you felt about this segment. I thought it was A+. It kept me intrigued. until it turned off the lights and initially the show ended. But post your comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.